A file photo of former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar. Former presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has called on the federal government to immediately release a known critic of the Bola Tinubu administration, Abubakar Salim Musa, also known as @m_Salim on X. According to a post shared on his verified X handle on Monday, Atiku condemned what he described as a growing pattern of repression under the Tinubu administration. The former vice president stated this following a post on X by Amnesty International Nigeria on Sunday, which disclosed that Musa was arbitrarily arrested on the evening of January 11, 2026. The post read, Abubakar Salim Musa has been remanded at Keffi Prison ahead of plans to put him through a sham trial based on bogus charges. What Salim is going through shows that the right of young people to freedom of expression in Nigeria is increasingly threatened. A lot of young Nigerians have come under attacks, ranging from threats to arrests, illegal detention, and harassment, all for simply expressing their opinions online. Salim did not commit any crime, and the harassment he is facing is clearly aimed at silencing him. It is perfectly within his right to criticize any government official, no matter his position or status. According to Atiku, Musa's arrest is yet another disturbing example of the Tinubu administration bearing its fangs against dissent, whether expressed through public protests or online criticism. Musa's only so-called offense was his consistent and legitimate criticism of the worsening security situation in northern Nigeria and across the country, he said. Rather than addressing the concerns raised, Atiku accused the government of resorting to intimidation, noting that Amnesty International had described the charges against Musa as bogus, and the legal process as a sham trial. He stressed that the case was not an isolated one, alleging that several Nigerians, including journalists, entertainers, schoolchildren and members of the National Youth Service Corps, had been arrested, assaulted or intimidated for criticizing the president or members of his family. This dangerous trend undermines the very foundations of democracy, which rest on the protection of fundamental human rights and freedom of expression, Atiku said. He added that Nigeria could not lay claim to democratic ideals, while citizens are routinely arrested, assaulted and intimidated for voicing criticism of their government. With the country approaching a crucial general election period, Atiku warned that repression would make it impossible for citizens and opposition voices to operate freely. As the nation approaches a critical general election, neither the people nor the opposition can operate effectively in an atmosphere of fear and repression, he said. He, therefore, urged the Tinubu administration to immediately and unconditionally release Abubakar Salim Musa and all others detained simply for exercising their constitutional rights. Atiku also called on the government to end what he described as a sustained campaign of arbitrary arrests and intimidation against critics and journalists. He further appealed to the international community to intervene, saying, "Countries and organizations that claim to stand for democracy and human rights must hold the Tinubu regime accountable and demand an end to these violations." I encourage fellow patriots, civil society groups and Nigerians of conscience to join this demand and stand firmly against any further erosion of our freedoms, he added.